Thank you for having me over. And mashallah, this is perfect. Following doctor's talk, it's gonna feed right into my talk, inshallah. But I'm gonna have to move this thing because I like to walk and make sure that you don't fall asleep while I'm doing this. I don't know if they can get the light. Okay, so eat to live, don't live to eat. I would like to tell you where I got this. There you go, the inspiration behind this title. So this is a scene from this. It's a scene from a play that I watched growing up as a child. The play is called Married Couples, the Newlyweds. And this gentleman who used to be a poor, is Egyptian by the way, this gentleman who used to be a very poor man, finally somehow gets married to the daughter of the butcher. And the butcher makes a lot of money usually in Egypt. And obviously are very well-fed people. So, him being so poor, she's being so wealthy, she immediately takes on the job of stuffing him, that he has to become very healthy. And she feeds him in this scene, which I tried to embed, but I couldn't because it's off of YouTube, some more than 30 pieces of eggs. So we're the cardiologists. So this gentleman here sits here and on stage, being fed one egg after another, whole or half eggs at a time, and he eats the whole thing. Now this play went on for about 10-12 years. It was that successful. And he did this scene at least twice a week. Where do you think this gentleman is today? He's not dead, but he had a stroke about 15 years ago and is almost completely paralyzed. The sad thing is, in that scene, after that scene, and he yells and starts screaming at his wife and he says, oh please, you know, we should be eating to live, not live to eat. And this is exactly what this gentleman paid for this line. I mean, he is an example of this line. Rasul says, the worst of containers that the son of Adam, mankind, filled is his stomach. It would be sufficient for the son of Adam if you would go with small meals to give him the strength to stand. So if he must, let it be that 1/3 of his stomach is for his food, 1/3 of his stomach is for his water, and 1/3 so that he can breathe. We have a saying back home, stuff it as much as you can, let the water drizzle and slip between, and then let the breathing on Allah. God will figure it out for you. So, the problem is that we have to deal with delicious foods. I'm sorry, I'm really getting it. I'm not going to eat now. It's trying to follow me. You have to go with beautiful. I had the steaks and the strawberries, but I have some of the Desi's and food in here. You have to deal with this. Where did we get all of this? How come we went on from just eating for survival rather and became surviving to eat? Hedonic hunger. It's a new word that I learned when I was preparing for this talk. It's eating for the sake of eating. It is eating for pleasure. Research in the University of Naples showed that actually the brain releases addiction chemicals. The same chemicals that are released when you become addicted to either drugs or gambling or anything that is considered very pleasurable to you. We get the same thing from eating. And as a result, we don't eat anymore so that we can go on and require the energy that keeps us going. We eat for the sake of eating. We eat because I feel like it, but I am full, but no, I can't resist. I'm going to have a couple of more bites. And who's to blame then? I put it on the cooks. You know, if you're a good cook, you know, your mom's a good cook, well, she's the one who's responsible for doing this. No, seriously. So let's get some facts. according to the latest health stats, and this is, I've been hearing this over and over now in the news, after the health consensus and, that Americans have been living in the US here longer than back in the 1980s. There's at least about 7-8 years more on life expectancy today. And it is because heart disease is becoming less. I think it is because of innovations, early detections, early biomarkers, better medication, better stents, better statins. There's less fat in our diet. But the problem is, we're getting fatter as a nation. Where's that coming from? There's less fat in the diet. But we are getting fatter. Diabetes. This is the current diabetes in the world. The darkest blue is greater than 12%. Right there's my home, Saudi Arabia. You can see it's darkest blue. The US is between 9 to 12% prevalence of diabetes in the world. 2030, even the US is going to be greater than 12%. These are your risk factors. If you have the history of diabetes, my father had diabetes. If you get up there in age, but these days it doesn't matter anymore because you don't have to be that old to develop diabetes. If you're a lady and you develop gestational diabetes while pregnant, and it depends on where you're from, Bases, Arabs, Middle Easterns, depends. It's all risks. But I think the worst of all, if you look like this. If you look like this, you have the highest risk of developing diabetes. You also should worry about atherosclerosis, which we just talked about, blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, sight loss, infertility, libido, mental, emotional stress. The list goes on and on. The reality check comes in that if you are obese or overweight, you are 90% more likely to develop diabetes than someone who's not overweight. 90% chance. You're 100 times more than likely to develop disease than a person who's healthy. And the sad news is, 1 out of every 3 children in the US will be diabetic by adulthood. I give a talk, similar talk to kids, school kids, about sugar and how much they need to reduce sugar. And I say to everyone, all right, out of every 3 while you're sitting together, raise your hand. And everybody's all happy while they're raising their hand. After they raise their hand, it's like, oh, you're going to be diabetic. I'm sorry, but this is really, 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 is not a small number. 1 out of 3. What is even more concerning regarding that, as I found this in the Massachusetts General Hospital, they showed that the disease progresses faster in children, that it is onset of between 10 to 15 years of age, that drugs really don't do enough. One drug, as the doctor said, does not make it anymore. You have to use combination drugs, and even so, it still doesn't have an effect. And worst of all, lifestyle changes and exercise does not help. I mean, you cannot, this is not double whammy, triple whammy, quadruple whammy in here. This is not very good. And we're talking about children, so don't even start thinking about us. Why is that? Well, very simple. As fat accumulates around your gut, you have visceral and you have outside. And that comes back to the, always you hear, are you pear shape or are you apple shape? If you're apple shape and you're building the fat on the inside and outside, basically, it becomes its own little organ. Fat becomes its own endocrine organ. It actually starts producing things like leptin and adiponectin, which are hormones that plays around with glucose and insulin regulation. And as the doctor said, you have a problem where you have this constant inflammation in your system. So, this is what the American Heart Association recommends for added sugar. Added sugar means not the sugar that you're going to get from an apple. Added sugar means how many spoons you add to your tea. Men, no more than 9 teaspoons a day. Women, not more than 6 teaspoons a day. Now let me ask you, how many sugar spoons do you add to your tea? Chai Bidud, how many you put spoons? Go to 0, mashallah, that's excellent, right? And don't forget about the sweets. 0. Are we getting sweets very soon? Okay. Now, this stuff here is deadly. I talk with the kids about this stuff also. Because look how many cubes of spoon, which is basically equal to teaspoons, in a Coke bottle. There's 7 teaspoons in a Coke bottle, in a Coke can. Now the middle bottle is that bigger one. And everybody looks at it and is like, oh look, it's only 180 calories, it's not a big deal. Yes, per serving. But that bottle is 2.5 servings, so it's 180 times 2.5. Which comes out to be, what did I say? I said 7 grams? Sorry. So it comes out to be about 20 teaspoons of sugar. Now, take a cup, fill it up with 20 teaspoons of sugar, put some water on it and see if you would drink it. But you wouldn't. Of course, when I say that to the kids, everybody goes, yeah, I'll do it still. You all know, I think, the ads from the 80s, late 80s and 90s where the guy comes in and he's sitting by a stove and he's got a fryer and he's got some butter in it and takes an egg and he says, this is your brain. Crack, and put it on the pan and starts sizzling. This is your brain on drugs. Any question? Well, here you go. This is your brain on sugar. According to a study that was done at UCLA, I just heard this a few days and I looked it up, it was amazing. Apparently insulin makes you less bright. I'm sorry, not sugar makes you less bright, because insulin crosses the blood-brain barrier in your brain and it affects your memory. What they did is they took a bunch of rats, taught them a maze, a very specific maze that they had to run through. Now they took those same rats, fed them for about 2 weeks, either high fructose corn syrup, best stuff on earth that's in everything that you drink today and eat, or just regular water and put them back. Now, they also did another thing that's going to come back to what the good doctor was saying. It's excellent, actually, it's going to feed right into it. The rats that had the sugar got lost. With the other rats, just went right through, not a problem. So when I tell my kid, don't eat this candy before an exam because you're going to get dumber, it is true. It is real. Okay? Now, the other part also is the rats that had the sugar but had also flaxseed oil did not have the same effect. Because the flaxseed and the omega-3s helped a great deal. So, does that mean that you can go ahead and have your sugar and have your, maybe make them 8 pills of the fish oil? So, you know what is scary? On average, the American consumer in the United States will eat 40 pounds of high fructose corn syrup in a year. 40 pounds. That sugar bag is 2 pounds. Take 20 of them, stack them like a little wall, and this is how much you will eat in 1 year. On average. Which means you might be higher, or maybe lower. Isn't that scary? You are all here, parents and grandparents. This is what you need to pay attention to your children as well. Some biochemistry? Anybody? Just a little bit. Because I wasn't sure exactly where I'm going to go with this, but I'm going to go very quickly through this. The idea is we are nothing but a big chemical equation of catabolism and anabolism. We build and we break down and build. We continuously do that. We take some calories and energy from carbs, we take some energy from fat, you can take some energy from protein. You can see that the energy that's coming out of carbs are about the same thing as the proteins, and then you have the most energy coming from fat, because it is the storage, the energy storage. You either break down whatever you need on top into metabolism to get energy, and get stuff to build up. You need the energy to build a wall, which is your muscle. You need the blocks to build a wall, which is protein. Or, and this is what you're doing during anabolism, building up and breaking down. Traditionally, our diet is composed of, our diet is composed of 60% calories of our intake of energy comes from carbs, about 30% comes from fat, and about 10% comes from protein. This is what happens, and these probably remember this at one point. This is what happens in our body. All these reactions, all these chemical reactions happens in every single cell in our body to make energy break down, make out amino acids, make out steroids, make out testosterone, make out estrogen, everything that is happening in here. But summarize very quickly that we have 3 sources of energy: carbs, fats, and protein coming in, feeds in, to finally to get some energy to work. Give you a couple of few things that you need to worry about and pay attention to. Body mass index is a number that's been put together to give an estimation of how healthy you are, but it's not necessarily always perfect. You need to have it along with other exams, with other tests. I'm a lab person, I'm all agreement, I'm all for good new lab tests. This is a chart. Unfortunately, the projector is not showing the colors, but the idea is that you can go ahead and any website, any computer, just Google BMI, it comes up to you, BMI calculator, you put your age, you put your height, you put your weight, your sex, and it tells you whether you are in the healthy zone, you're overweight, obese, morbidly obese. It will break it down for you. Something else that we need to worry about when you worry about being healthy, something called the basal metabolic rate. This is how much energy I'm burning right now while I'm sitting, I'm working. Now, I might be burning more energy than somebody else. My son, who's 7, if he's walking the same thing, or walking exactly the same way I'm walking, back and forth, he's going to burn a lot more than I. The fact that if I sit down here and do absolutely nothing, I'm going to be burning some energy. How much is that energy? It depends on this little curve right here. When you're about 10 years old or 7 years old, you're burning like about 2 kilocalories an hour. You're just nothing but a little furnace. And that's why the little kids are running around like everywhere and bouncing off the walls. But as you get older and you hit 20 and beyond, look at the dramatic drop. You become much slower. And that's why people who said around 30 and 40 say, I don't know, man, I used to eat all the time, I never not gain weight. Now I just look at a donut and I gain weight. Because you got into this area. And now your body is a different chemistry. It's not the little furnace that you used to be. And again, go to, unfortunately, on the website. We're probably going to have this on our website, inshallah, if we can have this on our website. You can get, again, you can Google BMR calculator, and it will get to you, and you put your age, weight, everything, all your information, and it tells you, right now, at this age, you are burning this much calories an hour, you are burning about 1,200 calories a day, don't eat more than 1,200 calories a day. It's going to ask you, are you active? Are you constantly walking around? Are you sitting on a desk doing your job? If so, eat less, eat more, and so on. It comes down to this, an equilibrium. That is, the calories consumed has to be equal to the calories that you are expending during your physical activity, during your day. You have to, as I said, you can go look it up, see how many calories. This is an excellent website also. This, you can do calculator activity. It tells you, vacuuming for half an hour will burn this many calories. Cooking, washing dishes, washing clothes, rocking a baby to sleep. It will tell you every little thing. You can calculate how many calories you burn in a day. And then you look at how much calories you're eating. Again, in here it says 170 calories. Does that mean this whole bottle is 170 calories? you have to make sure that you look at the serving size. It comes down to mechanism of weight loss or weight gain is this. If you're eating calories in more than calories out, you're going to gain weight. Calories in less than calories out, you lose weight. And with that, I come to the first fact. You eat more than what you use, you gain weight. You eat less than what you need, you will lose it. You eat equal, you stay in the same place. And brings me to myth number 1. Taking pills or drinking herbal teas will drop my weight. No. I'm sorry. There is no magical pill for weight loss. I train many people, it doesn't work that way. What do you think? How do I play around with my basal metabolic rate? It comes down to this. Regular exercise converts fat to muscle in a long stretch out process. It will raise your HDL. More muscle will basically see, muscles are the ones that will be using energy. Muscles are the ones that's burning the energy, which means it will raise your basal metabolic rate even further. That makes you burn more. It gives you more energy, you start losing weight. So you work out more. So you convert more fat to muscle. And you become a fat-burning, lean machine. And you cannot become a 7-year-old, but you're going to go back to hopefully a young, nice, healthy body that is active. Fact number 2. For best and fast results, you must exercise to increase your BMR. And there's no magical way. I'm sorry. Alright. Insulin. Insulin is, you all know about insulin. It's a hormone that regulates our carbs and metabolism. I did something. Alright. Insulin, when it's present in your blood system, the energy is taken by the liver. It's converted to energy to use, or it's converted to glycogen as stored. That in red, just like a potato is a form of energy storage in plants, glycogen is in animals, right? In us. And when we need it, it will come back to use. Opposite of it is something called glucagon. It's going to release and give us that energy when we need it. It's very simple. Insulin is for storage. It helps store. When you have a lot of sugar in your blood, the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin from the pancreatic cells, the beta cells, and the sugar is uptaken into the liver and into your muscle. It depends on what you're going to do with it, and that's it. You're fine, normal. If it's slow, glucagon is released from the liver and release insulin, sugar, and you're in a happy, nice cycle. However, let me tell you this little piece of information. I got this from my own biochemistry voted book. In a normal 70 kilogram, 154 pound man like myself here, I am exactly that weight. The total glycogen in the liver and muscle is about 900 calories or kilocalories. This is about 45 minutes running or swimming. If you ever think or remember, anytime you get on a treadmill to go into that fat burning zone, you turn it on and you run for about 45 minutes, and all of a sudden now it tells you, now you're in the fat burning zone. Why is that? Because you first have to go ahead and deplete this 900 calories that's available in your muscle and liver. Then you go after the stuff in your fat and break it down for energy. Now here's the shocking news. How much fat energy do you have in your body? You have 141,000 calories in fat in me. I have 141,000 calories of stored energy in me. And this is for a normal person who's got, hopefully, normal weight. This is how much we're carrying around with us. Rasul ﷺ says, Sumu tasahhu. Fast and you'll be healthier. Why is that? What is this fasting? Our fasting, subhanAllah, is so perfect. If you have sahur, the last meal before Fajr, and you eat, it will give you about 400, 500, 600 calories or whatever. Plus, you have that 900 calories you're going to live off of. That's a total of about 1,500 calories. It depends on what you do for a living, or how much more energy you spend during the day. You will go through the day, but the Asr time, you ran out of that 1,500 calories. Now, you have to go through until Maghrib for 3 more hours. What are you going to run out of? Your fat storage. Sumu tasahhu. That hedonic hunger is a way, again, your body becomes addicted to food. It becomes addicted to the pleasure of taste, enjoyment of food. If you fast, your psyche is going to learn how to handle that part. Subhanallah. Sumu tasahhu. 14 centuries ago. Glycemic index is a way for us to assess food in general, whether it has high glycemic index or low glycemic index. A high glycemic index basically means that when you eat it, lots of sugar is going to be released in your blood. A low glycemic index is the opposite. When you eat it, not much sugar, insulin is going to be released. What does that have to do? Right there. So I eat, I Twix, favorite candy, and boom, my insulin level is going to go up within less than an hour. I have a shot of insulin. I eat a banana, and I don't get it as high. Well, what does that mean? Who cares? And still, my system works fine, right? Well, hold on. Here's the issue. This is normal level right here. And it's going to come into the picture in a few minutes. This is normal level. When I have this spike of insulin, I crash below normal. And we'll get to this in a minute. So, simple carbs, high glycemic index, are things that are digested very simple, very easily. We've all done the experiment when we were children. Take a piece of white bread, put it in your mouth. What do you taste? Sweet. Why? Because right in your mouth, you broke down those very simple disaccharides into glucose and fructose or whatever, because the sucrose that it has in it, and done. You taste it. It was that simple for it. That increases your insulin right away. Okay? So, anything that takes long, that is digested very quickly, you get this insulin rush and sugar rush. We all know about the sugar rush, your energy, you're falling down, whatever. Here, have a Snicker bar, you'll be all jumpy. Yes, you're right, you will be. Okay, also, things that other signs of simple carbs has very low fiber content. And here's your best clue. I don't know, I can't see with my eye how much fiber is in it. Or do I? Yes, you can. If it's soft, very fluffy, and very white, that's most likely very simple carbs. Especially when I'm talking about breads. And here's fact number 3. It's an old wife tale, but I found it actually off a blog. The whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. Okay? The whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. Remember that. It's an old wives' tale, but wallahi, I think it is still. Okay, so examples for simple sugars. You all have a cup of ice cream, I see in front of you. I'm not going to make this very enjoyable, am I? Okay. Okay, you got current fructose, high fructose corn syrup. Oh my God, this stuff is in everything. I one time wanted to see what it's in everything. When I was preparing a lecture for the kids, I went into the mosque's, the center's fridge, I opened it up and I grabbed everything. I found it in ketchup, I found it in mayo, I found it obviously in all soda drinks. I find it in jam, you find it in butter, not butter, in peanut butter, you find everything has this stuff. And what is that stuff? And I saw this very cute, making fun of this. I don't know if you know Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth is sitting down with this big corn It's a corn, a man dressed up in a corn, and he's having a psychological breakdown. And he's sitting on the couch, and Dr. Hood is still sitting down with her notebook, and she's asking, what is wrong with you? And she's like, I wish people recognize who I am. I wish they call me by my real name. Why? What is the problem? Isn't your name High Comforters? No, no, no. What is then? What do you want me to call